My fiancé freaked out and I didn't know what to do. My fiancé and I have been together for 3 years and have lived together for 2. He's definitely a hothead. It's been a problem in the past, but he's an excellent partner otherwise. He cooks, I clean and work, and we are best friends. We spend all our spare time together going on road trips, trying new foods, or hanging out. In the past, he has lost it over small things, followed someone home twice over driving, and yelled at them. He's an angry driver in general. He thinks no one can drive and is often speeding through traffic. His beginnings and excellent driving are everyday occurrences. I let him drive because it's not worth the stress if I go because he doesn't like it. He punched a hole in a closet door after a stressful day at work, and I replied to his mood sarcastically. He immediately apologized when he calmed down the next day, but it scared me at the time. This was a year ago. His temper is different every day, but it's never directed at me. He also used to tell me to pack my things and F off if we were arguing. I'm calm. Let's talk to this person. He's an idiot. I don't want to talk about it. He often felt attacked, which we had to work through. He's much better now. He tried anger management, but said it wasn't working with his work schedule. His communication is much better. Apart from that, he's an affectionate goofball who treats me like a queen. He would do anything for me, I just have to ask. It's like a different person takes over. Oh, to the incident. We were going on a holiday this week, a 12-hour road trip, and we decided to leave at 3 a.m. He said he didn't sleep well, and I annoyed him because I wasn't ready quick enough. I forgot some things, and I acknowledged that my delay caused us to leave late. We stopped an hour later to grab a quick service station meat pie. I am trying to remember the conversation leading up to this. I wonder if we were arguing. His only recollection is that it leaked into his shirt. He cursed, tore it in half like the Hulk, and discarded it through the window. He proceeded to speed and had the angriest look on his face. I was scared. It was a dark back road, and I could see he was doing 140 kilometers. I told him I was afraid and needed to stop, but he ignored me. I told him to please calm down and stop. Suddenly, he slammed on the brakes, and all the things in the back flew forward. He turned to look at me and said, "There," before taking off again, only faster, doing 160 kilometers. I sat there, terrified to speak up again and fearing that we would hit something. He stopped, not long after, telling me to drive because he was going to sleep. He woke up 2 hours later and didn't say anything about it. An hour or so later, he said sorry shortly every day. I am exhausted. Shortly. I'm shocked. He doesn't seem to think it was a huge deal. It's been 2 days, and we've just moved on from it. He said nothing happened, and he knows how to control a vehicle. And we've just moved on from it. He said nothing happened, and he knows how to handle a car. Why would he put himself in danger? I just need some advice. I'm starting to rethink this whole relationship based on this incident because I'm scared to tell my friends. After all, they will hold judgments against him. Update. I'm so completely overwhelmed by the response from this group. I never thought I'd receive so many helpful and worried comments. I have 4 more days off this trip, and since so many are telling me to be careful, I will only do something once I get home. You've all demonstrated to me that it's time to tell my sister and brother what's happening. They live in the same city. Thank you again for all your help. I feel so rattled. I've never once thought it was abuse. I just thought he needed help and support. Here are some essential comments. He could be a better partner or a better guy. He does not care about you. Point blank. Period. End of story. Could you please inform me of this? I am not trying to be harsh, but you must realize he does not care about you. He's willingly putting you in unsafe positions, and he doesn't even like or respect you enough to stop his shitty behavior when you tell him you're scared. His ego is then so huge that he needs to embarrass you in some sort of gotcha moment when you call out his behavior. I wish you the best, honey, but run. This man is a loser, who is also deeply bitter, honey. Your life will be so much better, I promise. There is no award for suffering. I know you've invested time and yourself in this relationship, but the man isn't even kind to you. The bare minimum should be kindness. She responded with, I'm finding it hard to reconcile the man who cried when we were picking out our first dance song, who told me he was the best woman he's ever met, and that he feels so lucky that we met. The man who cuddles me on the couch and rubs my sore back at the end of the week, with this abusive man too. His mother said he rages. Their incidents are worse than anything that he's ever done with me. His mother hugged me and cried when I got him to go to anger management because she's been trying for years. His sister doesn't have a relationship with him, but since being with me, they have mended it and become close again. She said I seem to make him a lot calmer. I'm starting to wonder why I never seriously thought about what he was like before me. I'm starting to wonder if the longer we are together, the more that side appears. I'm just absolutely devastated. Update, almost 2 months later. Thank you to everyone who commented on my previous post. It's been a while since my original post, and a lot has happened. The end of the relationship was nothing short of a soap opera. I spent nights in bed next to him on our holiday reading Lundy Bancroft's book, and I was floored. All the comments were so eye-opening, even if I didn't want to believe it was that serious. So many things were hitting home. There were many things I didn't consider abuse, but these were things I wasn't telling friends or family about. I was protecting him from anyone knowing what he was really like. A section of the book referred to cheating and abusers as one archetype that matched a lot of my partner's attributes. I thought I was crazy, but over a week after we got home from our holiday, he got home from work, had dinner, and went to shower, so I checked his phone. I repeated this for quite a few nights, gathering evidence. He has been cheating on me, lots of different women over the last 3 years, and currently, one woman who knows all about me and likes to talk about how awful I am with him. There are a lot of things he thought he deleted from the Messenger archives. One of those nights when he was coming to bed, I eventually confronted him, and he told me he was too tired to talk about it, that I invaded his privacy, and that they were just friends. I was so angry that I pushed it, in terms of keeping the conversation going, not physically. He said he wanted to sleep, and I said if I wasn't getting any sleep, he wasn't either. He snapped. He punched a hole in the wall, he broke our dresser, it's destroyed. He went into the kitchen, and he smashed other things. It was terrifying. I was begging him to stop. He then said I was lucky something of his wasn't broken. I said, why? What does that mean? He said he would have asked why. What me? It's more graphic, but I'm not sure if I can post it here. I got my things, snuck into my car, and went to a friend's. He called me and said not to bother coming home. I wasn't. Why should I? The next day, he said it was all my fault because I wouldn't let him walk away, that I was a moron, and that I ruined everything. I should have allowed him to sleep. I asked why and what that means, starting every day with sleep. Why and what did that mean? Why but and what that meant? And I should have allowed him to sleep. Why and what did that mean? Starting every day and continuing until the morning. I called my brothers and said I needed to get my things. I decided it wasn't a good idea for them to come yet because they would have escalated the situation as they were angry too. I took my sister and friend and had them wait in the car until I was sure it was safe. He wasn't meant to be home, but he was. They told me I had 5 minutes until they arrived. I told him I'd come to get my things, but he got emotional and said he never wanted me to see that side of him. He got angry again and chased me into the garage, throwing pillows at me. He said I would regret not fighting for this, and I asked him what I was fighting for, because this wasn't how you treat someone you love. He collapsed into a crying mess and said he loved and needed me too much, that he'd been an idiot and ruined it all. He said I could take what I wanted and that he would speak to me tomorrow when we'd both slept. He got upset when my friend and sister came inside because he didn't know they knew. I took the opportunity to get clothes, and my brothers returned for my things 2 days later. He sobbed on the phone to me to reconsider, saying that he wasn't getting attention from me and did the wrong thing, that he was stressed, and it all came to a head. He warned me that this situation would repeat, and the familiar adversary was preferable to any alternative. He was begging me to come home. I made contact. 3 weeks later, he's posting pictures with one of the other women in a relationship with her. The turn of events just floors me. Thank you to everyone who commented. This man was an abuser, and writing here saved me. Please don't date angry men. Please realize if there's physical violence of any kind, they're capable of worse. The cheating was a bullet I didn't see coming. I never suspected him of that in the 3 years, and I'm extremely embarrassed by being replaced so incredibly and fooled so quickly. Exceptionally, significantly. I'm living with my brother, my self-esteem is in the toilet, and I guess I'm starting my life over again now. Story 2. Am I the jerk for not intervening when my husband snapped at his sister over a comment she made about me? I, 25F, and my husband Ryan, 26M, have been together for 5 years and married for 1. I get along with his parents and brother, not his sister Emily. Emily constantly makes remarks about my body and clothes. Comments such as, "It looks like you didn't eat today. Stop buying clothes that are too big. It's trashy. Wow, she's finally eating." And so on. Ryan has spoken to her privately numerous times and called her out, but she just ignores him and says I'm oversensitive, and she's not doing anything but joking. She's backed off a little. My whole life, I've been thinner wearing XS clothing. I've also had trouble gaining weight, but I've begun to get into my target weight range, with Ryan helping me work out and lift more. Looks. Everyone was at our house 2 weeks ago for a pool day and dinner. Ryan and his dad were grilling hamburgers and BBQ. I went up to grab a plate and filled it with a lot of food. When I sat down to eat, Emily said, "Wow. Finally, it's about time you started eating like a natural person." I ignored her and just talked about eating. She didn't like that I wasn't giving her a reaction, so she called Ryan and said, "Hey Ryan, your wife is finally eating, so now you don't have to sleep with bones," and laughed. Everyone was silent for a moment, but Ryan snapped. He told her to get out of our house and not return. Of course, she protested, but he let her know he was tired of her treating me horribly, and we gave her too many chances to change, and now she's lost the privilege to be near us. She then demanded their parents do something. Her parents walked up to her with her stuff in her bag, saying they would walk her to her car. Once back, they apologized profusely for her behavior and said Ryan had done the right thing. Everyone hasn't contacted Emily for the last 2 weeks, unless they tell her to apologize. She refuses to claim that she did nothing wrong and was joking with her brother. Her friends and even some other family members are saying, "I'm just oversensitive and a horrible woman for taking her parents and brothers away from her." Before we blocked her, she told me I should have just laughed at her joke and stopped Ryan from snapping at her, and she now has no one to cry to because I took her family away, and I'm starting to feel a bit bad because they were always close. Am I the jerk for not intervening when my husband snapped at his sister? Edit. I forgot to say Emily is the same age as me. 25. Edit 2. My goodness, thank you all for such encouraging comments. I appreciate it. Ryan and I have been reading them throughout the day. I do want to clarify a few things. I'm not confrontational and have trouble standing up for myself. Ryan has no problem speaking up, so he talked with Emily. She has commented throughout anything about a real relationship, but I didn't want to cut contact with her because I have 2 brothers and have always wanted a sister. I held on to the hope we could become close, which may be why I excused her behavior. Still not a reason for not going LCNC sooner. Ryan's other brother, Luke, 23M, currently has a girlfriend, and after speaking with her, Emily has made snarky comments to her, mainly about her eating habits. She didn't say anything until I asked because she didn't want to cause drama. I will say Luke is even more angry with Emily after finding out. He has blocked her as well until she apologizes to me and his girlfriend. I don't believe Emily is overweight. She looks great. We will keep her and all her supporters blocked until we receive a sincere apology. I will update you if anything changes. Thank you again. Final update. She found the post, blew up, and, long story short, she is no longer a part of our lives as we have all decided to go without contact. I don't use Reddit. I will delete the account, but thank you to everyone for the kind words. We are much happier without her, so that's why some people don't use Reddit. Story 3. I snapped at my husband, and I'm unsure if I was right. Yesterday, after my daughter went to bed, we started chatting like every other night about this and that. I told him, reminded him, that I wanted to make an appointment for her to see a dermatologist. Context. A few weeks ago, my kid had a mild rash on her hands and started peeling. And then, just like 5 days ago, a big chunk of one of her toenails broke and fell. None of this was painful to her, so we weren't as worried. I wanted to take her to the dermatologist, but I couldn't last week for one reason or another. Now she seems fine, but I still want to take her, if just for a checkup. I was thinking maybe the doctor can suggest a new body lotion that caters to her specific skin type, which I now think might be sensitive, since the one I currently use is running out. I've been talking about it for 2 or 3 days, but my husband isn't on board for some reason. He said she didn't need it, and the doctor wouldn't have anything to see because the rash and the peeling were over. I still told him that it would be good if the dermatologist could look at her nails and do a checkup. We were very calm for a while. Then he told me that if I wanted to take her to the dermatologist alone, I would have to endure other decisions he might make about our daughter without considering me. I wouldn't say I liked his tone, but I asked if he was threatening me. He said yes, and I snapped. I got up and held the plate I was having supper on, which happened to have a knife on it, against him. I wasn't touching him, but I was near him. I yelled at him, telling him never to threaten me with my daughter again. I admit that I was very shaken and upset, as well as cursing. He told me not to speak to him in that manner, and I reiterated my question about feeling threatened. I asked him if he would sleep on the couch or in our bed. He said bed, and I was still sitting on the sofa, so I put the dishes away and went to sleep with my daughter. Today, I woke up and left for work. Both my daughter and my husband were still asleep. I texted him to ask if my baby was awake and overall how she was. He replied that he was unfortunate and taken aback by my response last night. He called me violent, offensive, intolerant, and rude, and remembered I had a knife against him. Not really, and it was a butter knife. But okay, fair enough. He says I no longer respect either our marriage or himself, and he says I will not hear much of him until I go to therapy, or at least recognize my mistakes. The thing is, I think I didn't overreact. I just reacted. I took his words as a frontal threat and would not let that go as quickly as I would. We were talking about my daughter. She is also okay with going to a dermatologist. It is not going to be invasive or anything, and we do have the money to take her. We agreed she was to have the best medical care we could afford, always. So, was I in the bad? Should I go to therapy, as he says? Should we both go? How do I address this issue with him? I might add that we have a perfect relationship, both as a couple and as parents. I'm a little lost here, and any comment would be well received.